Till we come to see the world under attack. You will go hard and never fail. We don't back down. You can't stop the fire we bring. Defending the world from aliens and things. It's the Tubular. 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 We go hard. 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 Bringing the world from we go hard. Guardians, it's
The Dragon Cove boardwalk is enjoying a peaceful Saturday morning. It has been a week since the thunder trees tore up downtown and Pan and Tirich Mir's fight illuminated the sky. Johnny D's food truck is parked in its usual spot, with a Kraut Cider's sign on top. Reginald finishes preparing 2 plates of food before heading out to the table area. Desdemona sits at a table with a notebook in her hand, scribbling small notes as people pass her. The duo both look supremely confident and self-assured.
Whomever decided that farm clothes were fashionable should be locked up. Overalls should only be seen on a farm, not the boardwalk.
And that's why I think Desi's do's and don'ts is such a great idea. All these fashion freaks need to be told how bad they look.
I can't believe how much we've grown in the past year. We're like totally evolved.
Yeah, we're way ahead of the game, Desi. I mean, look at us now. You're just killing it as a news anchor, and I'm finally getting the hang of all this crazy food truck stuff. Who would have thought?
And let's not forget how our fashion sense has improved. We're like the only people on this boardwalk who actually know how to dress.
True that. I mean, look at all these people. They're still wearing Hawaiian shirts and fanny packs. Can you say stuck in 1992?
Please, they're still stuck in the past. But it's okay. We're not like them. We're better.
We're the elite, and they're just plebs.
Desdemona takes a bite of her food, and a surprised look comes across her face. She stares excitedly at Reginald, who sits with a small smile on his face.
Oh my god, Reginald, this is like totally amazing. You should be a gourmet chef or something.
Hey, thanks, Desi. You know, I'm putting my own spin on the food. Pleb recipes done to our standards.
And it shows. You're like the only person on this boardwalk who actually knows how to cook.
Yeah, those people don't know what they're missing. But it's okay. We'll show them how it's done. We're the trendsetters.
We're the real deal. They're just wannabes.
Speaking of wannabes, are you sure you want to invite Gwen and Hanuel to your birthday party? Ugh, look at them over there talking with Benny, Scarlet, and the mega nerd.
The duo turn and watch the quintet of secret heroes laugh and talk while enjoying their food. The group appears to be a typical gathering of friends, and not the protectors of the city.
You just know they might bring those other dorks with them.
Those dorks actually serve a purpose.
As cautionary tales?
Well, obviously. But they also improve my Q score.
Your what now?
It's how TV measures how appealing and popular you are. If people see me being nice to social rejects, it just might make them tune in.
Desdemona and Reginald continue savoring their food, both looking smug and self-important.
Every time, those freaks either run off before their food is done, or they just leave half their food on the table. I would ban them from the truck, but Johnny loves them.
Where is Captain Crazy?
I've learned not to ask. It ends up being an hour-long conversation.
The drowned duke stands at the foot of the lifeless form of Tirich Mir. The limp form of the Dark Emperor rests on the raised dais, while the trusted thaumaturgist slowly moves his hands above it. Haxatar Obiterus paces back and forth, his massive arms crossed over his chest, his brow furrowed.
By the fires of the endless plateau, The might of the crushing darkness, the wisdom of the endless, and the strength of the Oreg.
A mystical cocoon wraps around Tirich Mir before fading from sight. The hulking Dracator remains motionless.
Haxatar grows tired of this. You said your magic would heal the Dark Emperor, and nothing has changed.
I cannot begin to explain what exactly my magics are doing to help our Dark Lord to someone as simple-minded as yourself. Rest assured, Tirich Mir will rise again.
So you see, Haxatar feels we have waited long enough. It is time to act.
We must exercise prudence, Haxatar. Tirich Mir lies comatose, and there is no way of telling when he will regain consciousness. While the Guardians may have inflicted the injury, our priority must be the safe and speedy recovery of the Emperor.
No, Haxatar must take action. The Guardians are the ones who hurt the Emperor. We must destroy them.
Destroy them? With what? Your brute strength? Retribution may indeed be necessary, but it cannot be rushed into. The Guardians possess formidable powers, and brute strength alone cannot vanquish them. We must be strategic and strike at the opportune moment. This is a battle of wits as much as it is of might.
I have fought them before. I know their weaknesses.
And what good did that do? Tirich Mir is in a coma, and the Guardians are still out there. We must be strategic. Wait until I can use my magic to heal the Emperor.
But waiting shows them our weakness. I will not have them think Haxatar or Tirich Mir is weak.
Therein lies the challenge, Haxatar. We must tread the thin line between prompt action and reckless impulsiveness. It is imperative that we stay alert, keep our ears to the ground, and gather as much information as we can. When the time is right, we will act with resolve and determination.
And if the Dark Lord dies before that?
They won't. I will see to it. But if they do, then we will have no choice but to act. But for now, we wait.
Fine. But if Tirich Mir dies, it's on your head.
Rest assured, Haxatar, it will not escalate to such a trivial matter. Have faith in me, for I possess an ingenious strategy. I have planted a rot in the Guardian's inner circle, and when the time is right, we will have them positioned to be struck down in one fell swoop. Until then, our priority is the new Geo monster.
A glowing liquid orb rises from the ground and begins hovering between the two subterranean creatures. Reflected on its surface is a live feed of the Guardians doing battle with an extremely fleet-footed and brightly colored horse. Its black mare and tail seem impossibly dark compared to its vivid purple body. A single marking can be seen on its hind quarter and resembles two human lips with a single finger in front of them.
Is that a purple Eohippus?
The surface dwellers dare to refer to these majestic creatures as mere horses. How utterly ignorant and disrespectful. Behold, for before you stands the silent steed, a creature of unparalleled grace and beauty. I have been keeping a watchful eye on this magnificent being ever since it was imbued with life by the capricious whims of wild magic mere moments ago, and it has captivated my attention ever since. The wild magic within the silent steed is exactly what we need to wake the Dark Emperor. My magics have been able to stabilize them, but their new form hungers for more wild magic. We must let the silent steed battle these guardians and absorb more of their energies if we wish to awaken our lord.
The lush greenery of the woods surrounding Dragon Cove is a serene backdrop to the arrival of one of the city's most unique and unconventional individuals, Johnny Dakota. With the grace of a panther, he navigates through the dense underbrush, his eyes scanning the earth for signs of something important. His steps are measured and precise, every movement exuding a sense of purpose and intensity.
That bogus Johnny Thundertree did a number on the soil. I know my chillers were planted near here, but his weirdo tree upturned everything. Total bummer.
The sound of rustling leaves and snapping twigs fill the air as Johnny Dakota, the surfer with a mysterious past, moves through the thick woods outside Dragon Cove. His keen senses are on high alert, scanning for any signs of his missing chilies. Suddenly, he stops in his tracks, sensing something amiss. His heart begins to race as he looks down and sees a single red laser point fixed on his chest, indicating that someone has him in their sights. Johnny deftly maneuvers through the thick foliage until he suddenly comes face to face with a shadowy figure donned in dark clothing. Lowering their rifle, they stare with laser-like intensity at the grinning surfer. This person's face is a mirror image of his own. Yet the stark contrast between Johnny's sparkling eyes and contagious smile and the clone's lifeless gaze and scowl is startling.
As I live and breathe, Jack Kendall. Long time no see. See, you're still sporting that same old scowl on your face?
You left us, Rick. You left the agency and the life we built together to become a chef.
Yeah, dude, I hear ya. But I'm not like you, Jack. I can't ride the wave of that life forever, you know? I needed something more gnarly and fulfilling, like cooking up some killer dishes. Oh, and by the way, I don't go by Rick Danger anymore. It's Johnny now, man.
Johnny, please tell me you didn't take Grandpa's alias as your name. You betrayed everything he stood for. Betrayed me.
Johnny and Jack exchange blows, each landing punches and kicks. Their bodies bruised and battered. Despite their injuries, they refuse to give up. The sound of fists connecting with flesh echoes through the forest as they continue their relentless battle. Blood drips from their faces as they exchange a series of kicks and jabs, their movements almost synchronized in their ferocity. The tension between the former partners is palpable as they fight with everything they have.
Why'd you leave, Rick? You were damn good.
Just had to bail, man. Cooking's my passion. Riding waves, catching gnarly barrels, and whipping up culinary masterpieces for the bros. That's what it's all about.
Jack charges at Johnny, but Johnny sidesteps with ease, his training kicking in, and he delivers a powerful punch straight to Jack's gut. The impact causes Jack to double over, gasping for breath, his eyes narrowing with anger. Johnny takes advantage of the moment, swinging a roundhouse kick toward Jack's head. But Jack ducks and counters with a sweeping leg kick. The two spies continue their intense fight, neither willing to back down.
Sorry, bro. Nothing personal.
It's always personal, Rick. You betrayed everything we were raised to stand for.
I didn't go double-crossing anyone. I just went with my gut, you know? And I didn't want to end up buried in the sand like my mom. She was a rad spy too, but she ended up biting the bullet.
With lightning-fast reflexes honed from years of surfing, Johnny sidesteps as Jack charges toward him. Seizing the moment, Johnny delivers a powerful kick to Jack's chest, sending him flying back into a nearby tree with a sickening thud.
Dude, Jack, you're the reason I even started surfing, you knew that? If only you channeled all that rage and fury into shredding waves, you could have been a total pro, man.
I didn't want to be a damn surfer, Rick. I want to be an agent, like Mom. Take down the bad guys.
You're missing the point, man. Life's about doing what you love, not what others want you to do.
The battle reaches a fever pitch as the two siblings exchange a barrage of kicks, punches, and expertly timed blocks. The air reverberates with the thuds and cracks of their bone-on-bone strikes, punctuated by their grunts of effort and exertion. Each man is a blur of motion, their bodies twisting and contouring in a fierce dance of combat. The tension is palpable as they circle each other, each searching for an opening to strike.
You're still so angry, Jack. You need to let it go. I've got a breathing exercise that would do wonders for you.
You don't understand anything, Rick. You never did.
Jack charges at Johnny again, but Johnny grabs him and throws him to the ground.
Looks like you're not as good as me, bro. But go home and forget about me.
Johnny takes a step back to disengage, but Jack is quick to snatch his ankle and sweep him off his feet. Johnny lands hard on the ground with a thud.
It's over, Jack. You lost.
Didn't kill you, Rick. Why didn't you?
Because I'm not like you, Jack. I'm not a killer. But if you ever show your face around here again, I won't be so merciful.
With one last look at his twin brother lying on the ground, battered and beaten, Johnny turns and saunters away from the scene, the sounds of the forest ringing in his ears. The once formidable Jack, now reduced to a mere shell of his former self, lay motionless, defeated and unconscious on the forest floor. Johnny, his adrenaline still pumping, takes a deep breath and exhales slowly, surveying the area around him, the canopy of trees above and the verdant foliage surrounding him. He has emerged victorious, but the memories of his past still linger, threatening to pull him down into the abyss. Erald, the Velociraptor scientist in his lab coat, paces back and forth, his talons clicking against the metal ground as he waits to speak to Doc, the scruffy and excitable scientist in the heart of the scrapyard.
Erald! I know you're not a fan of meeting on the surface, but I wanted to give you the heads up that the yard is going to be super busy.
What matters demand our attention at this moment?
The Guardians have fought a purple horse. It went bad. Oh, it went bad.
There has been another instance of geomonster assault. Pray tell, how is it that we were not privy to the cacophony of commotion?
This one creates a zone of absolute silence. The Guardians couldn't communicate, and the reports are that they did more damage than the monster.
Fascinating. Are you suggesting that I remain clear of the worksite during the crew's operations?
It's the opposite. I think it's time you became an active part of the team.
Are you sure?
Am I sure? Most of the crews knows about you, and if any of them have an issue, they can hit the skids.
Thank you for that. Doc, would you postulate that our relationship meets the criteria of a friendship?
Of course, you are my #1 numero uno lizard pal.
Erald slowly makes his way to a nearby picnic table and slumps into a seat heavily. Doc follows, looking concerned.
It is often the case that one may be compelled to take actions that might be deemed as wrong in the eyes of society. But if one is pursuing a noble cause, the morality of the action is not justifiable by conventional ethics. Your philosopher Immanuel Kant said, "Act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of any other, never merely as a means to an end, but always at the same time as an end." In such a situation, what ought to be the ethical stance?
I get what you're saying, Erald. I do. Kant was a smart cookie. But as my dear friend Albert Einstein once said, science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. If you're doing the wrong thing, it's still the wrong thing, man. You can't justify it just because you think you're doing the right thing.
But one can argue that sometimes the end justifies the means. Isn't that a tenet of utilitarianism?
Yeah, but like Nietzsche said, he who fights with monsters might take care less. He thereby becomes a monster.
The confused gaze of the dinosaur scientist locks onto the human inventor, prompting Doc to persist.
You might think you're doing the right thing, but you gotta be careful not to become what you're fighting against, you know? Get it?
I cannot disclose the nature of my predicament. Suffice to say, my intentions are honorable.
Hey, man! It's not my place to judge you! But remember what Socrates said. It's better to suffer wrong than to do it.
Erald's face drops and his shoulders slump, as if Doc's statement has struck a personal nerve.
But at the end of the day, who's to say what's right or what's wrong? It's all subjective, man.
But how can one navigate such a quagmire? How can one decide the correct course of action?
Just follow your heart, man. Your heart will always steer you in the right direction.
Erald stands with his arms crossed, lost in contemplation, while Doc fiddles with the gears and gadgets strewn across the scrapyard.
Erald, you know what you need? You need a moral compass. A moral compass. So question, whose opinion do you value above all others?
My sister. We may not always see eye to eye, but she is the most direct, confident individual I have ever known.
There you go. There you go. Ask yourself, what would your dear sister do if she was in your situation? Would she stay to her morals or...
Erald comes to a sudden stop, lost in thought, as his mind drifts back to the day that Hera injected herself with monster serum, breaking her sacred tenets to save his life.
My sister sacrificed eternity for me.
The right thing and the wrong thing. It's all a matter of perspective.
Erald nods slowly, still deep in thought as he turns and heads back to his underground laboratory. The clanging and buzzing of Doc's salvage yard fades away as Erald descends into the dimly lit lab. As he strolls through the lab, he pauses at the tank holding the unconscious body of his sister, before taking a seat at his cluttered desk, his mind racing with the weight of their philosophical conversation. The elemental plane stretches as far as the eye can see, a desolate wasteland with towering mountains and glowing rivers. In the distance, a crystalline fortress stands tall, a beacon of hope in an otherwise hopeless landscape. Pan, the blue-skinned alien, awakens, their bodies still tingling from the transport that brought them here.
Is this the afterlife?
No, not quite. You're in the void of in-between, Pan.
Hera! You recognize me?
I've been watching my brother for some time. I know all about your new form. I'm more surprised to see that you have died. What happened to you?
I believe I was fighting Tirich Mir. But I need to get back to Earth. My war is not over.
I understand. But you should take a moment to explore your surroundings. The void of in-between is a unique place. It may give you some perspective on your journey.
The wind howls, stirring up clouds of dust and debris. The mountains loom large in the distance, their peaks shrouded in mist. Pan takes a deep breath and looks around, taking in the desolate landscape.
This place, it is like nothing I have ever seen before. I thought I had seen all of the elemental planes, everything they had to offer. Hera, how are you here?
The void of in-between is a place of transition. It's where souls come to rest before hopefully moving on to their final destination.
Could the afterlife simply be just an elemental plane? What kind of souls?
All kinds of souls. Souls that have fought bravely, souls that have suffered greatly, souls that have loved deeply. Here, they find a moment of respite before their final judgment happens.
I have never really thought about the afterlife before. I always assumed that death was the end of the journey.
Pan, death is only the beginning. There's so much more to life than we can imagine.
A river of glowing blue liquid flows nearby, its surface shimmering in the light. Hera gestures toward it, inviting Pan to follow.
Come, let's explore a little. There's much to see.
Lead the way. You know, Erald is trying to bring you back.
Only my brother would be either naive enough or arrogant enough to think he could supersede River's will. River has placed me here for a reason. Either I am unworthy to sit at his side, or my story is incomplete.
Hera and Pan make their way toward the river, their footsteps crunching on the rocky ground. As they approach, they can see that the river is made of pure energy, pulsing with life and power.
This is incredible.
It's called the River of Souls, carrying the energy of all the souls who have passed through here.
Can the souls be seen?
Not with our eyes, no. But we can feel their presence, their energy. It's a powerful thing.
The river flows on, a never-ending stream of energy and power. Hera and Pan follow it, exploring their surroundings and taking in the wonder.
Remember, Pan, you decide when the journey truly ends. But in the end, it's not the destination that matters, but the journey itself.
I understand. This cannot be the end of my journey. I have known this since I woke up here.
This is where all stories come to an end. You're not an exception, Pan.
I am not saying my story will not end eventually, but it is not at this place or at this time.
And how are you so sure?
She is not here. Ciel Jani is not here.
The void of in-between is impossibly large. How can you know she is not here after barely scratching the surface?
When you find true love, eternal love, you will understand.
It's good to see that your arrogance was not merely programmed into your metallic form. Come, let us check the river for your beloved.
But you said we cannot see them in the river.
You will not be able to see her. But if your bond is as strong as you say it is, if you focus hard enough, you will feel her and her energy.
Pan moves with cautious steps toward the river of spiritual energy, its otherworldly power emanating through the air around them. The amalgous forms flow past them in a blur of motion, their speed so unbelievable, it is as if they exist in a different realm altogether. Closing their eyes, Pan lets themselves become absorbed in the pulsing energy of the river, feeling its power wash over them and fill them with a sense of awe.
I do not feel anything.
Focus on a powerful memory.
Our first date. Actually, I did not know it was a date until she told me. I had fought in countless battles for the rebel cause, but the moment I met SilentSteed on the battlefield, everything changed. After the battle ended, I asked if she wanted to meditate with me. While we relaxed and the conversation just flowed so easily between us, we shared stories of the past and our hopes for the future. And when we ran out of things to say, it was like the universe knew exactly what to do. We retreated to an unbelievable meteor shower. It was the perfect night. I told you. She is not here. I know what I need to do. My journey may not be over, but it is not just about me anymore. It is about everyone else, the Guardians, GAIA, even your brother will need my help with what comes next. SilentSteed is out there somewhere, and she would kill me if she finds me before I find her. I have to keep fighting, no matter how hard it gets.
That's the spirit, Pan. You were always a warrior at heart.
Pan looks out at the vast, barren landscape in front of them, the winds whipping their hair and clothes around them. With a deep breath, they turn to Hera.
I am ready to find my way back.
Then let's get started. You have a trial to face. It has been waiting for you.
What or who is waiting for me? Ryver?
No. The Usurper. A being of immense power. Some claim it has an amorphous form. Others it has a body of the beast and the head of a sapient being. Regardless, it will act as your final judge.
The unalienable moment of truth.
Yes, that's what the trial is called. How did you know that?
I believe this never-ending universe we live in is actually a lot smaller than we think.
With that, Hera and Pan set off, ready to face whatever trials lie ahead. As they disappear into the mist, the River of Souls continues to flow, carrying the energy of all the souls who have passed. The elemental plane remains silent, waiting for the next wanderer to cross its barren wasteland.
Tubular Teens with Titans is written and produced by Velvet Fiend Rabbit Productions. Our theme song, Thunder Sword, is written and produced by Ahmad Judah and Joe Chasm, with lyrics and vocals by Keisha Wallace. If you liked what you just heard, please head over to the podcast service of your choice and leave us a rating and a review. It truly helps more people find the show. Tubular Teens with Titans features the vocal talents of
I'm Briar Zachary, and I play the Druidic Defender, Terra.
Ryan Tibbetts, and I played Benny Humo, the Pyre Paladin.
I'm Tim Loika, and I play Storm Sentinel, Hanuel Yasuo.
I'm Keisha Wallace, and I play the Hydro Hoplite, Gwen Avalon.
Sup, I'm Allegra Rodriguez Shivers, and I play the Nova Knight, also known as Scarlet Watts.
I'm Shane Cochran, and I voice Erald.
I'm JJ Jensen, and I play Hera.
I'm Michael Waldschlager II, and I play Pan Vahan, Guardian Prime.
I'm Noah, and I play Johnny Dakota.
Kyle Gould as Reginald Thaddeus III.
I'm Jerry Kokich, and I play the Drowned Duke.
I'm PJ Argento, and I voice
Tirich Mir.
Hi, I'm Sara Roberts, and I play Desdemona George.
My name is Ryan Short, and I was the narrator.
Brett Sidaway, and I played Jack Candle.